want to walk back to that exact moment, right? Like I personally want like walk me through what that was like. I didn't get to see it with my own eyes. So Penny, I'll start with you first. What was it like to score the very first basket? And do you guys chime in against each other once in a while? Like be like, yo, you
Well,
got some help.
Penny and I go back to college.
Way back.
We go way back to college. We were in the same conference and everything too. So yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so
Well, go ahead, Penny.
it was the rivalry back then, though. Okay, so there was heat back then.
you know, it's funny because any of us would probably tell you the same thing, Savannah. Savannah, like after the game when everybody was running up to me, oh my God, you scored the first basket. But the reality of it is we all are competitors. I could care less about that basket. New York had just beat us in LA. You know what I'm saying? Not until years later after I became the GM that I appreciated it like a lot more. Because one time I picked Tisha Pinachero from free agency. And she came in here and broke my assist record, right? And she's like, Penny, your record going down. I say, yeah, well, you broke that one, but I do have one that nobody ever be able to break, and that's scoring the first basket in the history. But it was a
Wow.
blur because we were just super excited, Kim, that the league was here. You know, we were more folks. I mean, it was so much, and if it had been in New York, I'm sure it would have been the same way. With Kim, you know, it was star-studded in LA. Like the tapes, it was like everybody who was somebody was at the game. So you were kind of shocked. We were playing, but we were shocked too. And then, at least I was.
Baby,
Yeah.
we were on an emotional roller coaster. Both teams were so nervous. I would look down at them. People, we were just had stoic like looks on our faces, like because we didn't know how to process the energy. We didn't know how to process something, a moment like this that was so big. Here we were playing in the Great Western Forum, like in front of thousands of people. The very first WNBA game, the hype, the media had hyped it up for at least 2 months prior. I mean, it was just and wait a minute, and we finally scored a basket. I don't think either team scored for the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game. The ball was
Yeah.
slippery. The ball was terrible. They had to change the basketball at least 3 times before they got it right. 3 or 4 times before they got it right because it was so hard and it was so slick. A lot of turnovers, a lot of missed shots. By the time I scored, I think I could have had like 6 points because everyone kept missing.
It was so funny too, because you know what? Afterwards, like when we got in practice, you guys are gonna appreciate this. And it was so crazy because I just came across some of hers. Remember Deja Charles? Unfortunately, she's passed now. Deja was my girl on the Sparks. I remember when we first, if you go back and ever see that game, we gave Deja the ball, Savannah, and she shot it right away. And we were like, because you know how somebody shooting, that's not the play. I said, Deja, were you trying to score the first basket? She said, absolutely, girl, absolutely, because Deja was funny. But Kim
Yeah.
was right. I think we went up and down the court about at least 5-6 times before the
No,
shot was scored.
for real. For real. That's true. That's true.
There's not
It was
many women. There's not many women in the first basket club. Like I think about even Lucy Harris. Rest
yeah.
in peace. She scored the first basket in the Olympics for the Olympic Games, right? When women's basketball was allowed. So I think those moments are monumental, and I can imagine that when you're doing it in the moment, you're just thinking about, well, I mean, there's still a whole game to play ahead of me, so you're not gonna exactly take it all in. But kudos to you both because that's some legendary stuff right there. But
I want to interject real quick too.
Yeah.
I think it's moments like that, because it's moments like that I think this new generation need to be aware of because, as the league, the excitement of the league, but these players didn't just wake up and then there was a league. Like there has been a lot of history, and I think to me, even the fans, like this history is something that being legendary. And that game, that's a small little thing, but it's really powerful because you know what you all were there. It's like all of a sudden it's like if 5 minutes in the game and nobody scored, like you were so emotional. It's like the moment was bigger than the game. And I think because you was making, it was like we finally got a lead. Like I said, what it's gonna look like. So to me, I think it's really awesome, and to me, it shows you how far the game has come now, where we are now. But the history, like when you're driving, you don't have to keep looking to the back because you're craft. But at least you should glimpse to the back to make sure things are cool. So I think the league need to do a better job at glimpsing moments like that. With Penny, with Kym, with a lot of players that sort of say, hey, you know what, we've done there, we've been there, we've come a long way, thank God. But let's celebrate our history.
I was just gonna ask you that, Ruthie, because I was gonna piggyback off of that. Do you think the league has done enough to honor its alumni, like especially the former star?
I said to me, no, I don't think so. And when I say that, I'm saying it in a way, and it's not. I think that they can do more. And the reason I say that, and I know I've talked to, people about it, because hey, the thing about it is that a lot of the players, I think it's important. I think it's important for the history. So I think they can do better. I don't know, when you hear stuff about, I'm not saying by, a lot of times they said for money, but I don't think, to me, that is not good enough excuse for me. Because you can take a game, each game, and highlight a player. At least if it, even if it's not there, you could have a pre-recorded video. Of course, like New York, Kym, I don't know how much New York has done for you. I know we don't have a team in Sacramento now, so maybe they're doing it for their team. I don't know. Like even Phoenix former players, LA former players, Penny, you may know. Maybe I don't know if they're doing that, but I think overall, I think that they just need to sort of step it up a little bit. And I know they worried about the task at hand, the players now, but I'm not saying spend a lot of time on it. But it doesn't hurt to say, who are we going to, take a look back at this, in the next 2 weeks or whatever. So I think they can do more.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Kym. I saw your face.
Yeah. Well, to piggyback off of that, yeah, I think that the league could do a lot more to help that situation by involving the former players, because the former players were the ones that were excited about it. We were the ones that started it. There's still not a day that goes by that somebody don't say that doesn't know Teresa Weatherspoon or Rebecca Lobo or Lisa Leslie or Kym Hampton or Penny Toller or Ruthie Bolton and on and on and on. I think that the league needs to utilize us to galvanize the league to grow fanship, to because who more would be invested than us? I think we should build the All-Star Weekend or All-Star, to be a time where we gather, where we have forums, where we can brainstorm and collectively come up with ideas on how to make each franchise better, how to make the league better. Like, I really think that there's just so much more that could be done. We got to tell stories. It's different. We have to market it different. It's very different. You can't market it like the NBA because our fans are different. Their needs are different than the NBA fan base. All of our players, we have stories. Some cook, some have fashion lines, some sing, some, WNBA All-Star Weekend, we should have fashion shows. We should have cook-offs. We should have, we should be doing all types of things in the communities where they are. We are doing clinics because this year I heard that they did, the EYBL. They used a lot of the girls from the EYBL, the leagues, and things like that. They had clinics, and so I felt like there was a lot more hands-on this year. But we have to continue to capitalize on that and to grow that.
And for me, I want to say, like, when it comes to the league, what I tried to do at the Sparks was, when I dealt with our marketing team, of course, we had Candace, we had NECA, we had all these players. But at the same time, the league needs to spread the wealth. And what I mean by that, just don't bring back the obvious players, because it took more than just the obvious players.
The marquee players.
And there are a lot of players, like sometimes, and no offense, and players gonna be mad about it. Sometimes some of those players want you to pay them or whatever, and that's fine. But you got a lot of other players that contributed to this league that never get a call. You know what I'm saying? And I think the league needs to realize that these teams were more than just Swoops, Lisa, Rebecca, and like Kym or Spoon and all them. No knock on them. You need them too, but you have to jump back and get some of the other players that played a part in this league and let them experience some of that greatness, because Mark Davis is doing it in a big way. He don't care who you play for. If you came through San Antonio or any Utah before that, he's inviting them all and treating them all like queens, and everybody's feeling great. And that's the thing I want to say is, don't just go, everybody wants to see those players too, but there's other players that the league want to say. And saying that, just like with my team, I would always tell the marketing people, no, I better not see Candace Parker on 12 tickets. I don't want to see her on 12 tickets, because I want to see everybody at least on the ticket that's on this team. I don't care if they don't play a minute, because they family want to see them too. They want to feel important. And that's the thing from the league that I want to go back and get some of the players that people may not know about, but tell their story, because guess what? Everybody got a story.
Absolutely.
People want to hear it.
Well, it's interesting because this got brought up to me during NBA Summer League. I was talking to a guy that covers the WNBA. He's from The Athletic, and we're just talking, going back and forth on how they WNBA, if we're satisfied with it. And he brought up the over marketing of certain names and celebrities, and how that could actually be to a fault. So now, are fans more familiar with individuals or with franchise stories? Because if you are captivated with a franchise story, then you're going to follow the people who made it possible in that franchise, like the Lakers, like the Lake Show, and so on and so forth. So anyways, that's just a point that I thought, but I do want to change the subject a little bit. I want to highlight Kym, because she is one of our guests. Oh, Rita's jumping in real quick. Rita,
I got to jump in because I had a technical difficulty when we started the show, so our great intro wasn't really seen, but it's okay. I just wanted to let the fans know that everything is fine. And then I actually wanted to bring in our other expert to the stream, Miss Teresa.
Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody finally back together again.
Yeah.
Hey.
that's awesome.
Hey.
Oh, there's a bit of
an echo.
You guys hear that? I think it might be
Spoon.
It's coming from me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's trust. Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Is it coming from me, you guys?
I think it's coming from you. Do you have headphones?
Nope.
No, Rita.
I think that's from Rita.
Yeah.
What happened now?
I think you're turn your mic off.
We are Unscripted.
That's right.
Okay, so mute yourself until you speak. Just unmute yourself whenever you want to speak.
We can't even hear it now.
We can't hear.
There you go. Okay, I think we're good. You guys good?
Hey, Savannah, before we move on, and I know you got a lot to say, I just want to touch on that last point, what you said about the past story. And the perfect example is this right here, like Ruthie, what we were saying about connecting the dots. It's just like we have the Kim Parrott Award. Do anybody know who Kim Parrott is now? You need to revisit that story, why we got that. You understand what I'm saying? So just that's all I wanted to say, because people got stories out there. Now I'm done with it. Okay, we can move on.
No, you're totally right, though.
Every time I mention the Margaret Wade Trophy, I preface it as the equivalent to the Heisman Trophy, because no one knows that. I'm just saying there's a whole history of basketball that we need to be teaching, and we need to, be grounded to and connected to.
Absolutely.
What you think about Spoon? You hear what we were discussing?
No, I was out. I didn't hear it.
Well, we were talking about our first game.
Exciting.
Wait, can you turn off your mic for a second?
Rita.
Okay, so Spoon, just so you hear us, turn back on your mic after, but we're just talking.
Only when you talk.
There you go. We're just talking about how the WNBA should be highlighting almost everybody who built up the WNBA to where it is, instead of certain narratives perpetuating certain celebrities, and it's the same names over and over and over again being talked about. It's like the Rebecca Lobos, it's like the Lisa Leslies, but where are a variety of other names that people don't even know about and can't even contact because they didn't even know that they were even in the league in the first place, type of thing. So how do they do a better job of highlighting WNBA and the builders of it too? You can unmute yourself now.
I've said this from the beginning of when this league started, that I wanted to really be X'd out. I didn't want to always be the one that did all the commercials. No, there's like you guys said, there's many stories that need to be told, not just that one story every year, because there's so many people out there who can relate to the story of each player. There's so many things that so many people can learn from each player. And I've always said this from day one. No, I don't want to be the one doing all the interviews. I don't want to be the one on everything. I want the entire team to be known. And that's why we are who we are, is because of everybody's story. And that's why we are who we are. And everybody needs to know how individuals got to where they are, the things that they went through, the struggles and the triumphs. Everybody needs to know what everybody has done to get to where they are, not just that one person. I totally agree with everybody saying that.
I appreciate your perspective. There you go. You see, you got the drill already. You get it. Thank you. But yeah, no, it's definitely a conversation that's worth having. And I appreciate like the fact that we have multiple perspectives on this call, from players to GMs to, and this is where I'm going to lead into. Kym, I want you to talk to us about what you're doing now, what you're up to with Nike.
Yeah, I just joined Nike back in October, the end of October. I was hired through the Nike WIN program, WIN program. Women in Nike is what it stands for. And that program was started to address the injustices surrounding hiring practices. Michael Spillane and Claire Hamill, they got together and talked about what they could do to help Nike be a part of making this better and building more and creating more opportunities for women of color, particularly women that former WNBA players of color. They felt that we didn't get the same opportunities as our counterparts. So they created this program, and it was pretty much a program where it was rounds of interviewing. It was either with Converse or with Nike at the world headquarters out in Portland. And so I went through the process. And so I actually landed the position. And so I'm working my title is North America Consumer Direct Marketing Key Community Partner Specialist. And so I know it's like a mouthful, but yeah. Oh, and so, so basically what I'm doing is I just said, yes.
No. I was just celebrating you. I'm just over here celebrating, like, hey, let's go. That's all I'm doing. That's all. I'm hyping you up. Like, that's it.
Yeah, and so basically, I work on a team that services Hibbett and City Specialty, which are stores like Chic, Snipes, the Athlete's Foot. Just several stores, DTLR, and things like that. And so we basically tell stories that relate to the community that those stores serve in a Nike view. We make sure we collaborate with them. Like this year's Air Force One's 40th anniversary, LeBron James's 20th anniversary. So, of course, we drop heat around all of the major events of Nike, but then also everyday stuff, or just regular seasons, springs, summer, fall, holiday seasons. And we're telling stories, we're like Support Her Soul is one of the stories that we tell. And it's basically highlighting women who are sneakerheads in their own communities, who love their fashion, their Nike fashion. It's a cultural voice that they have because, it blends with everything that they do in life. And so we just want to make sure their voices are relevant, make sure their voices are heard, and make sure us as a company, we're catering to them. So so that's what I do. And it's just really, really cool. And it's a lot of, like shoots, like it's photo shoots to that. It's working with agencies that do the photo shoots and making sure, it's digital releases. And so it's just, I'm learning so much. I mean, just so much. So it's just really, really wonderful just to get a whole new start over in life at this stage of the game. I'm like, woo. So I have a pretty big birthday coming up here in November, and I'm just like, oh my God, who gets to start their life over, at 60? Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
No, that's incredible. And like what really resonates with me, because I work in the equity, diversity, and inclusion realm for the Toronto Raptors. And like that's what my focus is on the content side of things. So when you're talking, I'm just over here being like, yes, sis, let's go. Because like I'm the way that I'm hearing it and everything I'm like you're saying, I'm like, honestly, what I really resonate is that there's a Black woman in a position to make change and a decision-making position. And that's exactly what I feel like, we've been wanting to see, especially at a huge company like Nike. So, I mean, I love the intricacies of your job and everything, that the control and the realm that you have a voice in as well. I do want to get to some playoff discussions. Are you guys ready for some playoff talk? All right. So it was a dogfight to get into this final like seeding here. LA Sparks, they didn't make it. But we saw Phoenix Suns, they squeaked in at number 8. So that means that they will be playing against each other in the first round. So we got Las Vegas Aces versus the Phoenix Suns. We got Chicago Sky versus the New York Liberty. Got some Liberty on here. We got the Connecticut Sun versus the Dallas Wings, and Seattle Storm versus Washington. So let's start off with the best first, yo. Let's go Las Vegas Aces and Phoenix Suns. I don't know if anybody wants to jump in or take the reins here, but if you think about those two teams and the season they've had, kind of what characteristics stand out to you in terms of the performance? Me personally, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a Vegas fan. I'm biased. So, just seeing A'ja Wilson's performance really like this past season, she's played incredibly, like, once again. And when I was a player, I was a power forward, so I'm biased towards forwards and centers as well. But Penny, I'll start with you. What do you make of those two teams? What stands out to you about those guys?
Well, it's interesting because it was a dogfight to get in. New York actually was the last team to get in. They got in, and Phoenix is right there. Speaking of Vegas and Phoenix, well, let's start with Chelsea, the point guard. People better look up how we spell it. Chelsea's dynamic in his own. Vegas been knocking at the door. But I want to say that Becky has done a good job with Vegas, got them playing super, super great basketball. And I know everybody's looking at A'ja, and I know you say you biased, and I might be biased the other way, because I'm going to tell you something. Kelsey Plum been playing MVP basketball from beginning to end. When they were kind of like struggling a little bit, Kelsey say, hey, don't worry, I got y'all on my back. And I think Kelsey, to me, and this is my opinion, I don't really care if anybody agrees, Kelsey is the MVP. I mean, she done played from beginning to end, lighting it up. Becky's done a super, super job, because I want to tell people out there, they think it's easy to take over a team that's good. It's not. And Becky came in to take over that team. Jackie Young is an all-star. She got Jackie Young looking like an all-star. We knew what A'ja could do. We knew what Chelsea can do. Plum playing MVP basketball. A'ja is playing MVP basketball. My nod goes to her. But what people got to realize too, and looking at it with a GM eyes, Becky came in. It's hard to take over a new team. Even when Liz left, Vegas got better. You know what I'm saying? Most people could have complained and said, we don't have nobody in the middle, but Becky came in, did a good job. Now, on the other side with Phoenix, if I'm Phoenix, I know they're happy to be there, but I want to say this, and I know a lot of people are not going to agree with this, but I'm going to say it. And I know I'm talking a lot, but I do want to get this in.
No.
5 ex-WNBA players that are in the playoff. Becky Hammond, Vicki Johnson, Noelle Quinn, Sandy Brondello, and Vanessa Nygaard, who's coaching Phoenix. Now, even though she won't win Coach of the Year, because I'm giving that to Becky, but my God, it was a hell of a coaching job that Vanessa Nygaard did too. Without Brittany Griner, Diana Taurasi getting hurt, Tina Charles saying, let me out, her leaving, going to Seattle, Skylar Diggins, and never complaining. Phoenix did a good job to get there, but it is TikTok. The bell will ring. Vegas will put them out, but that's going to be a great, it's a great series. I do want to say to Vanessa and Phoenix, you guys did a great job to get there, because they had a lot going against them this year, but it's TikTok. The fat lady's singing right now. Vegas is just playing too good of basketball.
I don't know, Penny. I'm gonna have to say, I don't know so much, and I'm not. This is no by no means a knock against Vanessa's coaching. It's not. But my point is this: when you have a team with such great leadership and such great competitors, the Diana Taurasi's, Skylar Diggins, and you had Tina Charles, like everyone contributed to that. At the end of the day, those people are winners. Like when you took Houston, the Houston Comets, you took them at the end of the day, they were winners. It wasn't like Van Chancellor, was a great coach and the coach of the year. They decided upon themselves to go out there and to make things happen. So I think we failed to realize that, you got to look at those teams too that are natural winners, are teams that have those competitors that are going to fight, and pull it together in the end and in the crunch time and when it really, really matters, and things like that. And when you have great, veteran leadership, like Diana Taurasi, when she talks to her teammates, they listen, and things like that, because they know who she is and they respect who she is too. So I'm not taking anything away from Vanessa, but I'm just saying, a lot of times it depends on, a lot more depends on the play. Look.
Hey, Kym, here, I already told you Becky Hammond's coach of the year. I'm just saying for Phoenix, I get you. And those great players, I'm just saying that you know, she did an okay job to get them to help get them there. And you do need good players, but I do think it takes a team thing. But don't worry about it. I'm reading between the lines and getting no argument for me. Okay?
Hey, Penny, I'm with you. I was reading between those lines too, and I was like, "Come on, Kym, come on, say it." Certified unscripted over here. And you know, Kym, this would be my thought too. My thought would be, if those players would have stayed together there at Phoenix, if Tina Charles would have stayed there, and of course DT staying healthy, Skylar staying healthy, if they could have stayed together, I have no idea what happened. I don't know what's going on. All I know is I'm like, if they could have stayed together and fought the way that I think that they could have with the veteran leadership that they have, the experience that they have, something greater could have happened with that group. Now, is it tough? Is it tough to have to coach so many different personalities? Yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Let's be real with it. Let's be real with it. But how do you take those group of women who have such incredible personalities? How do you bring them together? Because like you said, Penny, it's hard as hell to have a good team like Becky has, and then bring that together for them to have that one common goal. That's not easy either. To have a good team.
And that's why I said years ago, and people don't get it, that Phil Jackson should have been coach of the year a lot more. It's harder to coach a lot of talent than just having one star on the team, and people just think you're gonna go out there and win. And that's this is why people say, "Oh, Becky got a good team. She don't deserve to be coach of the year." Yes, she does, because she just came in there. The big girl runs off to LA, and Vegas got better. We got almost 3 MVPs on our team.
Hey, Penny, and these some other things that I think Becky did a really good job of is she pulled out some things in each one of those players that they didn't even know they had. She pulled out a lot of those players that they didn't even know they freaking had.
Yes.
Like if you say Kelsey Plum,
is the MVP to me. Jackie Young is a whole different player.
Hey, I'm with you with Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum, MVP.
Energizer Bunny.
MVP. She's in a different world this year. Total different world.
No,
People, move yourself, Boom. Yeah.
So, Kym, do you like having?
Passion. I said, when they were talking about MVP too, I was looking. I was like, why not? Have they considered Plum? I actually thought about that because she is an X factor. That team, without her, she don't show up at a game, you know, and they struggle. They gonna really be in trouble because she is that X factor. She don't care on both ends. She gonna D it up. She don't care what. She just play like every possession, like she trying to prove a point. So that's what she play every possession with a sense of purpose. So fun to watch. And like I said, they do well if she does well throughout the playoffs.
And now Tay, we didn't forget about Chicago. We just doing matchups. We doing Phoenix and the Aces. Vegas, exactly. So we'll get to them. Now we definitely gonna give them their props. Yeah.
But what I also want to say to the fans out there, you know, because when Chelsea came along and I saw the same thing with Sabrina. I mean Kelsey. I said Chelsea. I'm used to Chelsea. You know, Chelsea girl. I got it. You know,
we got it.
Which is another piece for the Aces. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, now Chelsea, she got the right name, point guard. She was named before she got there. Chelsea just ridiculous with her passes. But I want to say to the fans out there that this is why you got to be patient sometime, because Kelsey Plum took a lot of heat when people thought she should have just came in and just been dominated, just like Sabrina. You got to be patient with these people because they're not coming to some scrub league. They coming to the best of the best. And now they're feeling their potential, and it just goes to show you, be patient with players that are coming in and let them develop. And Sabrina and Kelsey done develop into, you know, like super great players.
And not only that, people fail to realize so what you're saying, Penny, is there's a learning curve when you come in. There's a playing curve when you go from college, when you go from high school to college, from college to high school, professional, you know, there's a learning curve. And not to mention just offense. When you come into the pro league, you got to play both ends of the court. So when Kelsey came in, she had a lot of work to do on that defensive end. Yeah, we know she could fill it up and stuff, but she still had to, you know, you couldn't go out there and give up 30 and think you're going to get 30, you know, that means zero, So, so my point is, people fail to realize all of those intricacies that it takes, to get into the league as well and
So
stay.
just before we get to the next matchup, because we got Tay-Tay, she's edging us to talk about Chicago. Who do you got coming out of this matchup then? Phoenix, Las Vegas. Is it safe to say everybody's going to say Las Vegas on this call?
Vegas.
Ruthie?
Yeah, of course, the obvious is Vegas, but
Okay.
Is Taurasi healthy? Is she playing?
That's a good
Not
question.
to my knowledge.
Yeah, no, I don't
Is she
think
not
so.
gonna play?
I'm still wondering if Skylar gonna play, or is she still gone for
No, I
personal
think she's
reasons?
out. I think
she's done.
Is Skylar hurt?
No, she left the
No.
team.
I think it's like personal reasons. Probably needed to be a divorce too. But
Okay, I was gonna say, can we talk about this whole talk about contract divorce that came up this season? What is that?
Certified unfitted. Yeah, I'm a certified unscripted. You fine.
Are you sure?
You fine.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Vegas.
Okay, before we go to
you know what? I think when you talk about coaching and stuff like that, I think it's really hard to understand players. And then and people fail to realize that there's such a short preparation period, timepiece for the WNBA. Mm-hmm. Training camp is only like 3 weeks. So you have players coming from Europe, abroad, then you throw in a new coach into the mix. You're trying to who's trying to gain the locker room, who's trying to gain and understand personalities and things like that. And then you get some players, that are dead set in their ways, so sometimes it clashes. And I think that if you're not a great organizer in that locker room, it's easy to lose your team. And so when you have a lot of veteran players or a lot of key players, shall I say, if you don't control it quick, you'll lose it. You'll lose it fast.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what too, though, obviously we know the obvious, BG, just her not being there, the emotions, dealing with that. I think with Phoenix, I think it showed in the interview that Diggins was really, Skylar really finally got to her. And I think, to me, because I know in certain situations, so I think that sort of started off on a bad foot, because they were just, it was just a lot of emotions, trying to play and focus on playing, and still knowing you had a teammate under her circumstances. So, I just think it just created a whole lot of just fear. I think fear.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I say coaching, players, call it whatever you want to call it. I'm going to take my hat off to Phoenix, because they dealt with a lot this year. More than necessary right out the gate. Like I say, with Brittany, Tina Charles with the divorce, Diana and Skylar getting into it. Diana hurt, Skylar hurt, gone for personal reasons, like the coach or don't like the coach. Phoenix dealt with a lot, and I think, and they have them having a new coach, whether they like her or they don't like her, is a lot, and they still made it there. So, I still got to give them 2 claps, because that's a lot to overcome and still make the playoffs.
Absolutely. There's so much to debunk. Even there's even further conversations that we could have with these 2 matchups off the court, on the court. But we just, for the sake of time, because guys, we're already 33 minutes in this. It feels like 10, but let's go to the next matchup: Chicago Sky versus the New York Liberty. So Kym, we're gonna have to start with you. We'll rip the Band-Aid off.
Talk to y'all, man. I'm listening. I'm chiming in. I haven't got a chance to see much.
All good. I mean, Liberty, Sabrina Ionescu. That's the story right there. She's just playing out of her mind. I think she's 24 years old, if I'm not mistaken. She just had a record for scoring 500 points, 200 assists, and 200 rebounds in a single season. That's WNBA history right there. And I know all of you guys on this call know a little thing about making WNBA history. So how big is that for you to see, Kym, having played for the Liberty yourself?
That is completely amazing. I mean, I feel so incredibly proud of her, but that's just a testament to who she is as a person, who she is as a competitor. I don't expect anything less. Every night she would come out and do that. And she's just as unselfish. She's going to have a triple double almost every night, if she can, and if she has pieces around her, and once the team learns each other, and she has help, and players are able to help her. I watched her the last game, and she struggled a little bit. I mean, the referees, they let them play. They let them play very aggressively. She could have gone to the free throw line at least probably 5 times in the first half, but didn't go not one time, I don't think, in the first half of the game. And I think it was a little frustrating for her. So I think that teams are going to be smart and know that if they can take her out of the play, they're forcing the other players to have to step up and beat them. They definitely have shooters and pieces, because New York was on fire when it came to the three. I think they're probably shooting or have the highest 3-point average in the league, or shooting the most 3-pointers in the league, or whatever. So they have some great shooters, but you're going to have to do other things. You have to rebound. You're going to have to play defense. And if they're on all cylinders, if New York's shot is falling, Chicago, I believe. Now, Chicago, I think they're a superior. I don't mean superior. I'll take that back. New York, Chicago. Yeah, I didn't mean that. No, not at all. I think Chicago is, of course, they're they're a bomb squad. They're the reigning champs, so they know how to get it done. But I still believe that if New York is on, if their shot is on, and they can give them problems. And they beat them before. They played them extremely close another game before. So I'm not counting New York out at all. I believe that, but they're going to have to come and play.
You're totally right. They have some great pieces around them. Like New York that has some. It's more than just a Sabrina Ionescu show. Like when I watch them play against the Aces, they actually beat the Aces in Las Vegas when I was there for Summer League, and it was a lot more. It was like Marine Johannes, I believe that's how you say it.
Marine Johannes. I nicknamed her Mojo.
If Kym calls you Mojo, you have to stick with it. That's the rule. But Spoon, I see you want to say something.
I don't want to say much. The reason I believe that Sabrina's having such an amazing year, and it's very simple. She's freaking healthy. She's healthy for a change. And it's not that the kid couldn't play. She just wasn't healthy. She wasn't able to get by people. Everybody was really pressuring up on her, making life difficult for her. So she's experienced those things. Now that she's healthy, she's able to handle herself much better. Now, if she's not scoring, the thing that I like about her is she's still impactful. She's passing the ball. She's getting everybody else involved. She's getting easy shots for everybody else. And the one thing that I think that she's getting better with is playing on the defensive side of the ball, because everybody wants to try to expose her defensively. But what the Liberty has done much better with that is they're loading up to be able to help her. So that makes her want to play a little bit more. There's a lot of energy, a lot of momentum that's in the Liberty's favor right now. They're playing really good basketball. They're playing together. They're healthy now that their bench is back. They got everybody back on the floor. So I think they're going into this thing with a lot of confidence, believing that they can win. And I'm gonna step out, and I'm going for the Liberty on this one.
Really?
Yep. And not to mention the coaching staff. I think they have a great coaching staff. I think Sandy Brondello and her team are doing a great job over there. And I just feel like, and then they throw Han in, that gives a different look to the game. I think when they play together,
season, she's been getting some minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Me personally, I think it's interesting, because what I'm interested in looking at, for all you young ladies out there, if you want to see, you about to see one of the best point guard duels you've ever seen come up against each other. Now, Sabrina has been awesome, done a lot of things. They do got a great coaching staff, Kym, like you said, with Sandy Brondello, championship pedigree, championship coach, with Olaf Lane, who's her husband. That's a great coaching bench there. I think it's going to come down to what's inside between the Howard and Dawson. If they can show up, they're going to make it difficult for Chicago. But Chicago's bringing the heat. Vandersloot ain't no slouch, And if you want to, like I say, this is going to be one of the best point guard duels that you possibly could ever want to see. I do believe that New York's capable of beating Chicago, but I'm going to tell you something. To beat them in Chicago is going to be a huge feat, even though they played them close. But you also got the health of Candace. If Candace healthy, you're done. If she's not, you got a chance. Kalia Cooper, the good thing is Benai Delaney's back, and hopefully she can get acclimated real quick, because I think she can make a serious difference in this series here. You got Quigley, you know, you got her running around. Azure Stevenson's playing great basketball, and they got a great coaching staff. And James Wade, who's just coming off a championship. And we all know once you got a championship in your mouth, it's going to be like a lion sticking your hand in a lion's mouth to get it out. That's how I feel about it. But New York is going to be tough. And I think it's going to come down to what Howard is doing, because Howard can out hustle all of them. And I will say that.
And the three.
Howard is hustling.
Yeah.
When Dawson brings the game that she played these last couple of games, it's going to be a battle there.
I feel like
can get one of those games, they got a chance, because now we got to see if Candace can go all three games in this series.
Exactly. I in a sense, the way that I see this on a bigger picture scale is more so this is almost like the old school and the new school, in the sense that Candace Parker is kind of like, she's bringing so much experience. She's bringing a championship from just last season over to this series. Yeah, exactly. 2 of them, let alone the one last year. And like also Chicago wasn't exactly expected to win it last year either. So, but now that they are, you know, they're tied, as you guys mentioned, fans watching this, for the best record, you know, they have a bit of a chip on their shoulder because everyone's talking about the Aces right now. Like, there's not as much talk about the Chicago Sky as they deserve. But, you know, and like you mentioned it, Kalia, she is incredible. Like, legit, she's an incredible MVP. Athlete.
And she was the MVP last year. That's what people
exactly.
forget.
That's what I'm like, you guys are saying Liberty like it's easy to say that. I'm like, this is gonna be a fight.
It's gonna always be easy for me to say it. Always. I'm banking on them. I'm banking on them. And it's not that I know how good Chicago is. I know how Vandersloot can control any situation. That's how freaking good she is. She can control any situation. But the Liberty has 0 to freaking lose. And that's what's going to get you if you don't bring your game. If you don't bring your A game, they have 0 to lose. And they come in at you.
That's why I said Howard.
That's right. Great matchup.
Are going to make the difference. Because Howard can out hustle everybody. And that's going to be interesting. And Dawson is playing good basketball. But this ain't got nothing to do with this series. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, y'all better be looking at Pooh question, because Pooh's going to kill you, Savannah, even though it's not you. It's Rita that's not looking at Pooh question. Pooh, put your question in the comment section, Boo, and I'll make sure it gets on, because Pooh is killing you, Savannah.
Oh, no.
Pooh and Savannah, I got Pooh. Pooh will kill you.
Come on, give Pooh. Please give Pooh. Pooh, we're sorry. We're sorry.
Pooh going to kill Savannah, and it's not Savannah, Pooh. It's Rita over there.
I know. And look, and Tay was like, are y'all just sleeping on Chicago? Excuse me. I was like, nah, girl, we ain't sleeping. You know, sorry. I'll tell you.
You can't sleep on Chicago. No, we're not sleeping.
This is why Rita reads the comments. Not me.
Rita, unmute yourself, Rita.
Oh, Rita, you're a mute.
Let me just address this real quick. Pooh, I see you. Hoop Nation, I see you. I see all of you. But right now, we're talking about matchups. I'm going to get to your questions. We're going to get to all the questions.
Yes, we're not going off in an hour.
Girl, we're not going off. We will get to your question. All right, Pooh? So
we got you.
I'm gonna wait for your apology first, though. So, but she's trying to ring me over here.
I don't even want to know what Pooh's been saying. Okay, I don't want to know.
Hey, Pooh, I'm gonna tell you where Rita live at.
No, they have some questions for him from back in the day. You know, so we can speed it up. We're gonna go through, finish with the playoffs, and then we'll just hop on to those questions. You know.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Be patient with us. We got it. Trust.
Ruthie, just to loop you into this more, because I want to hear your perspective, because you know you are an incredible athlete in your time, and like when you think about these two matches, it's kind of like this like team that brings so much more experience, but versus a young hot team that has nothing to lose. What matchups in your career does that like ring a bell to you? How like what scenario have you seen that unfold in previous games that you might have played in?
Crap. Shoot. LA.
Is that going too far back? I don't know.
Oh, it's a long way back.
Okay.
Oh, wow. But no, you know what? I think to me, you know, to be honest, I think the most important thing is that finding competitiveness. You're watching. I know when we play, anytime we play LA, I know Houston always had our number for some reason. New York. But it just, to me back then, it's like it was competitive, but it's like we were friends. We loved the game. We competed. And I think to me, for as matching up now, I think to me, I actually watching them play, I wasn't really a New York fan until I saw their last game. And when I saw their last game, I think they played who they just played. I actually was like, okay, New York can make some noise in the playoffs. Because when you barely make it in, you playing now with hunger. Like, okay, we got in, now it's on. It's a new season. So I think watching, I think New York might be ready to play. But to me, watching from the outside, I want to see good basketball. I don't want to see any blowouts. I want to see good competitive games. To me, that's what I want to see, whoever it is. So I don't know. You may think that the Aces might have the easy, but hey, you know what? The thing about it, they can't just show up either. A game is a game. You can't just show up and think that, oh, we just gonna win anyway. So I think, to me, I just want good basketball.
No, and that's more than. Oh, yeah, Penny, go ahead.
No, I just want to say this about New York, and I want to say this. I respect the hell out of New York because I'm gonna tell you why too. And this is really quick. A lot of teams wait for other teams to do their business. New York went out there and handled their business and got in. They didn't wait and be in a situation. Oh, I hope such and such lose. New York got and get ourselves in. And that's why I do got respect for New York because they went and did the work. You know?
Okay, so wait, before we head over to the next matchup real quick, New York versus Chicago Sky, who do you guys got?
New York.
Hey, I'm going, hey, like I said,
no respect for the former champions.
I'm going with Chicago. I like you, New York. I'm going with Chicago, okay? I'm sorry. I got Chicago.
Because you were just hyping up New York too. So.
Yeah, but I'm hyping them up, but I ain't crazy. Look, I'm like,
the hiccup is you know that you have a chance. It's a great matchup. This is a great matchup.
I can't spoon you. I'm kidding around with New York. It's a great matchup. I'm hyping them up. They're playing good. But like I said, when you're a champion, it's not like you're going to walk in Chicago and come out of their mouth. I'm picking Chicago. I got Chicago. It's going to be a great matchup, but I got Chicago.
I don't know. You know what, Penny? You know what? Sometimes a hungry dog runs faster. You know, have you ever noticed teams that win the championship and the next year they might not make the playoffs, or next year they kind of fall off or get knocked off earlier in the, you know, so I don't know, not always. You know, sometimes people just don't have it in them. You know, you might have a chip on your shoulder. Like that year when y'all won it in LA because Candace didn't get picked for the Olympic team, she had a chip on her shoulder that whole damn season. And that was a part of, you know, it. So I don't know. You know, like I said, this is going to be a great matchup.
New York playing good. I'm not counting them out. I'm just picking who I think I want to pick. But at the end of the day, too, like what you're saying, a champion ain't handing over.
Yeah, they're not. They're gonna hand
over. There's no cookies now.
If I was New York, Spoon, if you want New York to get it, you better send a message to them and tell them they better find a way to contain Vandersloot, because she is an expert. She played with ground she got her basketball IQ. I'm talking about, to me, if I would defend, they got to figure out a way to get her out the game, because she get in the game, she gonna make some Vandersloot the guard.
Oh yeah.
Ruthie, you gotta get when it comes out
Emma Messerman.
Yeah, I see you, Spoon. Yeah.
We haven't even talked about Emma Messerman, and I'm not, like I say, this kid. I mean, Ruthie, who did you pick, Ruthie? Who did you say?
I said New York.
Okay, awesome. And I bet all y'all dinner. If y'all win, I'll get you dinner. If y'all win, y'all can split my dinner. All right? All right. But I'm going to Chris Station's up the street, so I expect some dough to arrive at my house. Okay? The water starts at $25. So I'm going to Chris Station.
all I gotta say is I'm riding shotgun because I'm choosing Chicago with you. So you're not on this island alone. But Spoon, just before we go, I got you. Spoon, you were gonna say something. I want to hear it.
Heck, I don't even know what I was talking about. Ruthie had me fired up about it. But when it comes to Vandersloot, the one thing you have to do with Vandersloot is when she gets it up, you cannot let her get it back. Yeah. It is what it is. She can control a situation and she can win freaking games. Whether it's scoring, whether it's passing, whether it's defense, whatever it is, she can win. But when she gives it up, don't let her get it back. Let somebody else make the decisions.
That's right.
Duels coming up. Watch that game, because you're gonna get to see some of the best point guards go at each other.
Okay, we got to move on to the next playoff matchup so that we can get to all the other questions about you guys coming up. So Connecticut Sun, Dallas Wings. I'll keep it pretty short, honestly. Like, Who do you got? How many? Like, what stands out to you about this team? Obviously, yeah, that's right. Dion Hoops, Jonquel Jones, she's incredible. She's absolutely incredible. But con time has passed. I think Jonquel Jones and the con time has passed. I'm sorry. Ouch. That's rude. I just said she's incredible. I think she's still incredible, but okay, go ahead, Juan.
Well, I don't know. I think watching them, they've shown a little, I think, decent consistency this year, but I don't know that much about Dallas, to be honest. But I think, I don't know. I'm pulling for Connecticut. I actually would like for them to win. I think that they just, I don't know, seem like, I think they need to get really good, consistent, and get really hungry. I think I don't know, sometimes certain parts of the game, I think sometimes it disappears, like there's nobody like lead. So I don't know. I think if they show consistency and really play like with a sense of urgency, I think they could take it.
I think Dallas is a sleeper team. You know, they have Enrique on that squad, and she's just like, she's one of my favorite players in the league. But I don't know, if just to, you know, for the sake of this conversation, like, do you guys have a pick between the two of them?
Penny, you like Dallas?
I love Dallas, right? But they ain't winning this series, right? I love Dallas because they're a young team, and I love them because they play with no fear. Everybody will tell you last year I root for Dallas. If I'm going to see a game, if Dallas is playing, I'm always going to go see them because they're a super, super high energy team, young, but they're missing a lot. Enrique won't be there the first series. Sabalas, I don't know if she's healthy. Isabel Harris is not there. I think Vicki Johnson did an amazing job. I'm looking at Tierra McCowan. The last 7 games, she done came on that could cause Connecticut some problems. But Dion, I disagree with you. Connecticut is in their prime. I'm gonna tell you this. And Kurt used to coach for the Sparks as an assistant coach. Kurt is a very good coach. I think last year they were missing Courtney Williams. Courtney Williams back in the fold. Wnba got championship experience. Jacqueline Jones has played great. Alyssa Thomas, remember last year, was hurt, who's healthy this year going into this series. The question with them is, can they fulfill that point guard role? Because they're missing a lot without Jasmine Thomas. Heidemann done a good job. They just signed Odyssey Sims. And don't knock on them. I think they did a great job. But we were just talking about 2 spectacular point guards, and Vandersloot and Sabrina, who can control the tempo. I think Connecticut takes this series because Enrique is out, Sabalas is out, Harris is out. But I'm going to tell you something, ain't going to be no slouch. Marina Mayberry, who I drafted, is bringing the heat. I love her. She got total swag. Alicia Gray is bringing some heat. Thornton, they're going to always be competitive. I just think Connecticut is prime. They're not past their time, Dion, and I think they're gonna give a good run. But I will say this: the team that wins the championship this year is gonna have to have a great point guard. And that team right there, and that leaves Seattle, Vegas, Chicago, New York. If they can get there, the point guard makes a difference. It just makes.
Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head there, Penny. I mean, obviously the fans in the comments, they're cheering for Dallas, saying that UConn's past their prime. But another series that really stands out to me, and just before I move on, I guess, who do you guys got? Who do you guys got? Clearly, Penny, you got Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Ruthie?
Connecticut.
Okay, I think we're all on the board. I think Penny, you convinced us.
But we believe in you. Look, but we believe in you, VJ. We do.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Absolutely. Yeah. When you're missing a piece, Enrique, that's a major piece, especially going into the playoffs. That's a major piece.
Yeah. Next series we got, this is the last series before we get into fan questions. Seattle Storm versus the Washington Mystic. These are two of some of my favorite teams in the league, in terms of just like the talent, the individuals that are on both teams. Obviously Tasha Cloud with the Mystics, just incredible right there. Is Della still back? Is she back now? Is she healthy? That's my question. I gotta double check that to make sure she's good to go, because I think that is a huge factor in this series. And then of course Seattle Storm, you got Sue Bird running, everything there. Brianna Stewart as well. Where do you want to begin in this one?
where you got two championship teams going at each other. And you got Mike Tebow, who I think is a great coach. The question going to be is Elena, is she going to be able to play all the games? Elena Deladon, is she going to be healthy? You know, they bringing some heat with, you know, Cloud and Ariel Axon, who I think is good. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going for Sue Bird to make that final run. You know, Brady girl, I love to see Bird get there. And the other thing about Seattle, you know, I think Noelle Quinn has done a great job, another former player that's in the playoffs. I think everybody got a problem now. And the reason I'm saying that is because Brianna Stewart been doing what she's been doing, you know, MVP. Jewel Lloyd is just playing lights out right now. But I'm going to tell you something. Them getting Tina Charles and having that time, if you look at them when they first got Tina Charles and look at them now, they done got acclimated to Tina Charles. Seattle can beat them all now because Tina Charles and Brianna are playing good basketball, even though Vegas beat them the other day. But look at, they both were over 100. Yeah. So, you know, Seattle, I'm pulling for Sue. Going to be tough if Mike Tebow and them can beat them because they got a lot. But I'm pulling for Sue. I'm hoping she can make that final run and get out that series. Yeah, that's the most difficult series to call right there.
The most difficult one, you said that, but I think that Seattle's playing with a different fire, different motivation to send Sue off in the right way. So I think that's why I'm choosing Seattle in that case. It's going to be a hell of a matchup again. Talking about Chicago, New York, it's the same with this series. It's a hell of a matchup. So if Deladon is playing, it's really going to be a great one. It will not be a blowout, Ruthie. You don't have to look for that. But Seattle, the motivation they're playing with is a tad bit different.
Yeah.
And the other thing that people got to realize is this right here. And listen to me when I'm saying this, you guys, because here's the X factor. And this is why you play all year long. Seattle going to be 22 or 24 deep up in the house. I don't care, whatever. When you go to Seattle, the fans, they got a true 6-man. I'm going to tell you, and with Sue, any one of those games could be her last game. They're going to be sold out. So y'all better be practicing with the radio on and all the lights on that you can't hear to be able to call some plays because it's going to be tough to get that game out of Seattle. One thing about Seattle fans, they show up. That's a real 6-man. And like you say, Spoon, they playing with a lot of emotion.
Yeah, definitely. But I think, too, I think Jewel Lloyd has really got to step up. And she played great against Vegas. I think they need that from her. They need that consistent play from her. And Seattle could give they could give some teams some problems. Like I said, they playing with extra motivation with Sue. But I think Jewel Lloyd when she can contribute in the way she did in that last game, I think that's gonna give them a better chance. They're gonna take some of the pressure off Sue. You know, Sue is not gonna play 40 minutes, I don't think, but she, you know, like I said, they just really, if Jewel Lloyd step up in the guard play, I think she'll really help them a lot.
So, what's the call?
Seattle for me.
Seattle.
Okay. Now, who do you guys think is going to win the entire thing? Last question of the playoffs here. We got Vegas. We have potentially Seattle. It could be New York. It could be a sleeper. We have the defending champion with Chicago. This is a tough playoffs. It's literally anyone's.
Yeah.
And then you got to factor in if everybody, God forbid, if any, you know, just prayerfully that everyone stays healthy. You know, you just factor that in because, you know, but yeah, it's tough. I can't call it. I can't.
Come on. You got to call it. You got to call. Okay.
See, if you get me past this first round, then it would be better for me.
No, okay.
Yeah, I bet.
Aces. I'm going to say aces. Aces just play different. I'm saying aces. That's all. I'm leaving it at that. Penny?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm on your boat, Savannah.
Okay.
I think we all on that boat. You can certify unscripted, say what it really is, Kym.
Yeah.
I know you want to say the Liberty, but
no. Yeah, I would say okay. I mean, you know, I think the Aces could, but then again, I think Chicago could. Like, so for me, it's just gonna. like for me, like honestly, it's just who's going to be able to play the most consistent throughout the playoffs, because that's what it boils down to, and whose shots are falling. Because if you think about it, the Aces win because they're outscoring team. I mean, everybody wins because they outscore their opponent, but everybody goes through those games where they're not scoring. So sometimes it hits you in the playoffs. So for me, that's why it's super hard. That's why it's super hard to count.
But that's why you got to just pick one, because I can tell you right now, if Jasmine Thomas was playing, I might be going Chicago. I mean, I might would have went Connecticut, because if you guys think about it, the team that's won the championship been knocking at the door for a while. When we won it from Houston, we were already knocking at the door. Vegas was knocking at the door. Connecticut been knocking at the door. But I think missing Jasmine Thomas, that's missing a lot.
From the Mystics?
I'm still going to pick the Aces. I would love to see Chelsea Gray, and Kelsey Plum and all those guys. And I'm thinking they got to have a bad taste in their mouth, like what you saying, Kym. Last year they didn't play well, and Phoenix went in there and got that victory and got out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the Aces. I'm still gonna put for the Aces, even though I would love to see Sue make that run.
Yeah, Ruthie.
Yeah. I say Aces.
All right.
They good at giving up a big lead though. I don't know what they be thinking about, but
I don't care. I'm saying the Liberty now. I don't care.
Better girl, root for your team, Kym.
Right. Damn it. Cinderella, yo. Cinderella all up in the house.
Spoon.
Hey,
Come on, point guard. Come on, point guard.
I'm with Penny on one. If Jasmine Thomas was still playing with Connecticut, I would choose Connecticut.
Me too.
Without a doubt, I would choose them quickly. I'm loyal as hell, so I want to say New York. But the way that Vegas is playing, I would have to say Vegas.
There you go. All right. We got to get to some questions for Kym, because this is Kym's spotlight tonight. We gave Michelle Edwards her flowers last time, but let's talk about Kym. We got a lot of questions apparently queued up. Rita got you, so we're gonna start rolling them on in, and Penny, like Ruthie, Spoon, you guys chime in to where you see fit. Kym, Spoon, as feisty and hyper in practice as she was in games,
Most definitely.
Was Spoon. Talk about Spoon as a leader. This is from Hoop.
Wow. Spoon, I mean, whenever we stepped across those lines and on the court, Spoon's mind was on basketball, and everyone had to be on, their minds had to be on basketball. I don't care, because our practices, I mean, we went at each other. We played each other tooth and nail. I mean, like the second string, it was a fight, a dog fight. So yeah, she was just as feisty in practice as out of practice, but her leadership skills were always there for us. So, I mean, if we were having an off day or a down day, she would be right up in our faces. Let's go, get it together. I got you. I'm coming right back to you, or whatever it is. Or if you turned around and did something good, you would always have to look around, because she was going to come and jump on your back or do something, or, or hit you or high five you, and you felt like your hand broke or something like that. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And she'd get to stomping, so yeah, that fire was real.
Yo, I can only imagine. Chris is saying, Kym, is it true that Cheryl Miller was your roommate? Talk about that and how great of a player Cheryl Miller was. Many times women's players call her the GOAT. Yeah,
she and I were roommates in the Goodwill games. And so that was a pretty cool experience. She was laying, we would lay there at night, and she was telling me the stories of how they had this big hill in their backyard, and their dad used to make her and her brother Reggie run this hill, and they couldn't come in the house and eat dinner unless they shot 75-80% from the backyard court, and everything, and how he was just so tough on them and everything. I was like, wow, really? Oh my gosh. She's like, oh yeah, and so so it was amazing to play with her. And just to hear why she was so intense and just to listen to her goals. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
I have a question for Kym, because I know we're going to get to those. Don't take that question down, but I just want to get to a question for Kym. Mm-hmm. Kym, what people don't know is you played overseas all those years, that even when you came in the league as an older player, you were kicking butt. Mm. And it's
All-star.
interesting how people see, and Spoon and Luther, you know this, they'll see some of the younger players that were doing that. But Kym, let everybody know how great you really were, because your career overseas was long. And if this league had came 4 or 5 years before, I mean, your legacy is still a legacy, but it would have been even longer. But tell everybody, not only are you gifted like Whitney Houston, but tell everybody about your game, that they were looking at these young players, but you've been doing what they've been doing for years. You know,
Now,
about your overseas and everything.
Yeah, I was when I graduated from college, I think I had a stellar collegiate career. I was actually one of the finalists of the Wade Trophy, which and again I always tell people what the Wade Trophy is. The Margaret Wade Trophy is the equivalent to the Heisman. So they choose the top female basketball player of the year, and that was Janice Lawrence, who actually went to La Tech with Teresa Weatherspoon, who won it that year. But I scored over 2,300 points in college, over 1,400 rebounds in during my collegiate career. And I'm, and it's the craziest thing is I'm still the all-time leading scorer and rebounder, male or female, in the history of Arizona State. And, I just had some dog fights with, Long Beach with Penny and Tanya Pollard and, Cindy Brown and, oh my God, just all of those. And then against the McGee twins and Cheryl Miller. So when I went to Europe to play, I ended up playing 6 years in Spain. I was 4.5 years in Italy, a year in France, a year in Japan. And, I was a all-star multiple times. And, it was just a wonderful experience. And so I was 35, getting ready to turn 36 when the league first started, the WNBA. So I was blessed and fortunate enough to be drafted in the elite draft. So I was drafted in the draft with Teresa Weatherspoon and the 96 Olympic team, Ruthie and those guys. I was in that draft with them, that part of the draft. And, and so just to be a part of that history was just amazing. Coming to the league. So yeah, I kind of feel like, if the league would have started even 5 years before, I feel like, because I only got a chance to play those first 3 years because the wear and tear, I'd already played, you'd already played college ball. Then it was 15 years pro, and stuff. So that wear and tear on those joints, it was kind of like, got to bow out. So,
but guarding players in the league, like when we played you, I know Lisa probably gonna kill me, but I know she didn't want to see you. You know what I'm saying? Like what people don't know, and Spoon, this being on the team, Kym guarded the best post. And that were probably 15 years younger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's one thing, but like I would say, that, and I think that's why we clicked in New York, because our base was like Teresa Weatherspoon and Vicki Johnson, who came from Louisiana Tech. Defense was in their DNA. I was trained that same way. So, anybody that stepped on the court with us, we was about defense. We was like, don't miss your assignment. We were about that. And so, I asked Nancy Darsh, who was our coach, rest in peace, if I could guard Lisa Leslie the first game, because I saw that, Rebecca was a little nervous, and, the media had hyped up, Lisa Leslie, Rebecca Lobo back to back. And I'm like, Coach, let me guard Lisa Leslie, starting off, and just so that Rebecca can kind of just ease into it, and so she's like, nope, it's giving up too much height, nope. I'm like, come on. I'm like, please. I'm like, so you trying to tell me Rebecca is a better defender than me, and stuff, so I'm just like, so she said, all right, you try it. And I really, if I'm not, if I'm recalling right, I don't think she scored until I went out of the game. So, starting the game, and stuff like that. But, that was the pride that I had in my defense too, so I wanted to step up and take the tougher defender, and things like that. So, yeah, so it was pretty cool. And it wasn't just towards her, but, but again, you look at people like Sabrina Ionescu, like a lot of the players want to D her up coming into the game. They're like, yeah, okay. Yeah. So I see players give her heat, and everything. So, yeah, that's kind of how it was. That's definitely how Spoon was. And Vicki Johnson, they was like, yeah, you ain't getting nothing up in here.
It's funny. Oh, Spoon, I was just going to say, you and I were talking about that last week.
I just got to say this, because I was just tremendously blessed to be able to play with Kym Hampton, played against her overseas, and got a chance to even just see the other things that Kym did with her life and how she touched so many other people's lives. People don't recognize that Kym has done so much in New York City, and she's probably touched every freaking school in New York City. She's probably touched so many kids' lives that she doesn't even know about. But it's so much about Kym that most people don't have a clue about. She's more than basketball. She's truly about impacting the lives of other people. She doesn't even recognize how much she's impacted our lives because we got an opportunity to play with her. Wonderful, kind, giving, caring, individual, wonderful person. But Kym also has this voice. There she goes, this sweating and carrying on that she does. And there she goes. I don't know if she's hot flashing or what's going on, but this has been happening since we played. But anyway, she knows how much we love her. But there's something about Kym that she's been doing for a very long time. Kym also has a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful voice. And she does use, she's not one that's not going to use her gifts. She uses her gift. Kym used to sing the national anthem for us our last game. We felt like we're going to win every time because Kym had us so hyped up just for singing the national anthem. She's going to practice all goddamn day. You're going to hear, ooh, she's going to sing all day. But when she got out there and did her thing, you guys, we were so happy for her because we felt like she's now putting her feet or putting herself out there to be ready for when basketball is over. Because Kym has a wonderful voice, but she uses it, you guys, not just to sing or sound, to show how melodic her voice is. She does it to touch the lives of these kids that she goes to every school in New York City. Nobody knows that, but that's what Kym Hampton does. That's who Kym Hampton is. She's impactful in the lives of people, and I'm glad she impacted mine. I love you.
Thank you so much, Teresa. I really, really appreciate that. But you know what I felt? I always felt like I was super blessed with just more than, one gift. And I believe that we are all superiorly blessed with our own unique gifts and talents and things like that. But I felt really blessed because I felt that I could appeal to the masses from different perspectives, like if it was music and singing. So when I go to speak to a school, for kids that are not interested in sports, they might not be as interested. But then when I started singing, then it's like, oh my God, or then when I was, just letting people know that I was a cover girl, when Queen Latifah's makeup launched, I was one of her cover girls, did a national commercial, everything. I was signed with Wnba, I've been, in Glamour and, in all of these magazines and got a chance to do all of them. Then when I talk about that, then it's like, oh my gosh, so I think that, that too was, just I feel completely blessed to have been able to have done some of those other things and just kind of lived your childhood dreams,
Well, that's awesome, Kym, because you know what? Not trying to sound biblical, but the Bible said your gifts will make room for you. Your gifts will make room for your purpose. The fact that you use your one gift, basketball, and you use your gift singing, it's opened up doors. And the thing about it, your gifts, recognize your gifts is bigger than you. Your gifts and your purpose to really reach out and showing that when the basketball stopped dribbling, you still have more things to give. And to me, that is the beauty of your legacy, is that, not just what you did on the court, is your impact, like Spoon said, off the court, which is crucial and it's huge. And that's something that can continue a lifetime. So my hat off to you, or my headband off to you for what you continue to do. And hopefully we can catch up a lot, more about what you do. But I think being able to impact those students and remind these young girls, like, hey, be confident in your own skin. Be you. Be the best version of you. And I think it's huge too. So, girl, you keep on doing your thing. And I actually, I was texting Rita that I got the kiddos to feed and get ready for bed. But I want to say, and I want to hear you sing, but I want to say about 30 seconds of this song to you, because you are a beautiful soul. You are a beautiful young lady, ebony, chocolate, whatever you call it, but appreciate what you left, the legacy you left. So I just want you to know that you are so wonderful to me. You are so wonderful to me. You're everything that I hope for. You're everything that I need, Kym. You are so beautiful to me.
Oh, thank you.
That's a voice, yo.
Oh,
You got to answer before you leave, Ruthie.
Girl, you didn't know about Mighty Ruthie? Mighty Ruthie. Well, first of all, Ruthie comes from a family of singers.
Okay.
Hey, go ahead, Kym. Hit two real quick.
Let me do the national anthem.
I ain't saying no daggone now. This is what I got. Look, this is look. We'll be walking to the jump circle. Turn your daggone mic. Thank you. We'll be walking to the jump circle. She'd be like, and you get up and tip it on this side too. You know, let's be looking shut up. You know, he's still doing it. All right, let me see something. As I take my final bow, all I can think about is being with you now. We work so much, we're far apart. Can't wait to see you and create a new start. Baby, oh baby. All right, that's enough.
Oh, you can
Mary, don't love nothing.
Like I said, man,
All right, Patty, your turn.
for my turn, girl. Come on,
What you
okay.
got?
Hey, look, I can't even follow that up. I'm trying to think. What would I sing? I have no idea. Okay, I'm gonna stay in my lane on that one.
You and me
That was
both.
beautiful.
You and me
Hey,
both.
but I know I can imagine you every game having a cheerleader like Spoon over there, and you know, just cheering you on and just really I'm sure y'all great teammates, and Spoon is definitely an amazing, I imagine amazing teammate, and the real still the same. Like her energy is infectious, and so I know y'all the amazing duo. So I know it must have been great in your journey to have Spoon in your corner, constantly cheering you on.
Girl, she has helped me in so many ways. You know, like I said, even after the game, I mean, when stuff got slow for me, she always comes to my shows. You know, she watches out for my baby, you know, and stuff like that. My daughter, you know, so she is just, she's been a true sister.
Speaking of your daughter, do you think she played basketball because of you, Kym, or what's?
Well, she was around
better
it.
than Kym.
Yeah, she was around it. She was around it, you know, a lot. I mean, she grew up, she was 2 days old at her first Liberty game, you know, so, exactly. She lost her umbilical cord in the Liberty, what do you call it? The training room, you know, where the girls would get, you know, where, you know, and all of that. I mean, so she was just around it a lot. And she told me I was not going to force her, because at first she was kind of like just all over the place, jumping around and all of this stuff. I was like, yeah, she probably ain't gonna be too good of a player. But I was like, okay, I'll just let her have fun, you know. And then all of a sudden, one summer, it was just like, whoa, what, you know, like, whoa, you know, and everything. So I'm trying to let her take, you know, make her own journey. She graduated this year from Bishop Auckland High School, and you know, she had a lot of college offers, but during her going into her senior year, she fell and had a really deep, bad bone bruise, and she strained her posterior cruciate, just strained it, but it caused her to be out for like 3 months. And then, you know, she had to roll right into EYBL season. And so she wasn't 100%, you know, into her EYBL season. So, you know, although she had quite a few offers and things like that, her final 2 offers came down to Ole Miss and Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati. She loved Michelle Clark-Hurd and their coaching staff and stuff like that. And so she chose Cincinnati. So she leaves on Friday, actually, Thursday or Friday to go. Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, no. So, yeah, well, no. She's going to University of Cincinnati. So University of Cincinnati is in the AAC right now, but they're moving. Yeah, but they're going to be moving up to the Big 12 next year. So,
yeah. That's amazing. Well, congrats. You must be a proud parent for that too.
I am. I truly am. You know, I truly am. It's just wonderful to see this generation of you know, of kids and them playing. You know, it's different from us, you guys. You know, we know that, but you know, we just try to guide them the best way we can. That's why I said it takes a village. So all of you aunties out there, all my sisters that I played with, and stuff like that. You know, it takes our village. So I'm expecting you guys to kick in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure she has like the best resources at the snap of her fingertip. You can't tell me that Spoon's not going to take the first flight over there if she needs her.
I'm on her pretty tough all the time.
Okay.
That's my bam.
That's awesome. Ruby, I know you said you had to put some kids away to sleep, I believe you said. So I'll respect that. Oh, you're muted. Oh, you're muted. You're muted. No, you're mute.
Okay, just say love you guys. Thank you so much. Welcome back, Penny, Spoon. Good to see y'all.
Thank you.
Too.
Too.
Thanks for joining the team. Awesome.
Yes.
Appreciate you. All right. All right. Well, right away we got a question from Ship Ahoy. I love the name. Thank you, Kym, for signing my $100 bill and mailing it back. I had no doubt that you were a solid person of character and would return it. Did you sign a $100 bill? Look at that. That's on
Girl, I
character.
can't keep nothing that's not mine. Shoot.
I mean, did they put a note in there, or was it just a $100 bill?
No, of course it was a note. No,
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, if it had no note, then I'm like,
no.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got another question for you. How, and this is interesting, I'm sure we all could probably answer, but I'm just curious. How was it transitioning, working for Nike? Like, you know, it's always a difference, but how has it been where we all at some point in time in our life have to reinvent ourselves? How has that process been for you?
It's actually gone pretty smooth. I feel super grateful that I got connected with a great team, like the team that I happen to be with, my manager, my coworkers on my team. Everyone is so kind. They're patient, you know, with me, because it was like learning office skills. I'm like learning how to, you know, be an Outlook pro, learning how to do Keynote, learning how to, you know, go from going from a Microsoft to a Mac, you know, and from an Android to an iPhone, you know, I mean, so it's just girl, you talking about the learning curve, you know, I'm just having to learn a lot. Wait a minute now, how do you do this? You know, and so I'm learning every day. But I think everything, and this goes to all of you listeners and everything, all of us on this call, life is going to be what you perceive and project it to be. And so I decided to go into this new transition, starting my whole life over with an open mind, being grateful, being prayerful, and just giving myself grace with this whole learning curve, and just deciding to make the best out of this opportunity. So it's turning out great.
It's funny though, because I'm happy to hear that it's turning out great. I'm so happy to hear that you're like, it's a learning curve for you, but I swear there's such transferable skills from when you're an athlete. Like it never leaves you. And like
that is real. That's the easy part. But you still have to, I still have to know how to go into the comp portal and comp 3,000 pair of shoes to send them to somebody, just send them to an organization, make sure they get to the right place. And if they don't have certain sizes, and then you got to go to the legal department and then write up the PO and do it. You still got to do that part too. Yeah, all that transferable stuff is easy. That's the easy part.
Well, while you're at it, you know, I'm a size 10. I live in Toronto, Canada. Nike's my favorite brand. Kym, who are the top 5 or 7 players that you ever played with in college, overseas, or in the WNBA?
Oh God, how could I name that? That was a tough question. But I mean, play with. I mean, of course, I'm gonna name my teammates. You know, like I feel like Vicki Johnson and Teresa Weatherspoon. I feel like they were in my top. And who else? And against, let me think of some players that I played against. God, it's just so hard because so many people, like, I feel like LA always had matchups that was so every team that you can go down. So I'm just going to say it's a lot, and I'm not naming them. So now y'all can't make me, but it was on every team and every team I could go through. Yeah, at least it was a tough matchup. You know, there was Natalie Williams, you know, she was always, because, you know, she played volleyball. She had hops, but she was like strong. And, you know, it was just, that was tough. Like Charlotte was always a tough matchup, you know, with Rhonda Mapp and those guys, you know, and yeah, it was a lot of players that were tough. And then can't negate Houston, you know, of course, because, you know, they had the big 3, you know, and so that was always tough. Yeah, it was just so many. I feel like this, and this is what I want to tell everybody. On any given night, the worst place team can beat the first place team. So although the rankings and the standings in a league are what they are, don't sleep on either, you know, like the teams that are at the bottom of the rank, because everybody on that team can bust your behind too, you know? So I'm just saying it was tough. Every night you got Wnba, you know, I'm just like, wow. I mean, I could go through.
Isabel Fizikowski, you would have played against Cleveland.
I played against Fizikowski from Europe.
Janice Lawrence was there the first year the league started.
Definitely.
You know, people forget about, you know, even the guards, Spoon for us, Grasshopper and Michelle Edwards, who we just had on. There were some super, super great players in this league, and this is why, like, if you don't know the history, people only see what's now versus what was. Mm-hmm. And the reason these players are now is because of what was. They saw the product and then went and emulated, and they gave, you know, evolution. What comes after you will improve on what's there, but you have some incredible players that a lot of these people won't even ever get to see. And Rita, I want to say to you, because Tanya, get to Tanya's question, please, because I don't want to have to give her your address either. I think she got a big question for Kym. Tanya, put it in the comment section for we can see it. And if Rita missed it, we can put it up there. But that's why I say, even about your game, Kym, is like people slept on it when it was funny, because what people don't know was when they see the ceremony tip, I had to explain this this is a true story. We were in my office one day and they said, oh man, Lisa and Rebecca did the first tip. I said, actually, no, that was the fake tip. Remember? You jumped the real tip. Remember that, Spoon?
And me and Lisa did the ceremony. Me and Lisa did the ceremonial tip too.
But they got one. We had one that it was Rebecca and Lisa and I was explaining the photo to them that actually, you guys, Kym Hampton actually jumped the real tip, because I was there and can say that. And the other thing I pointed out to them that they didn't realize that it was God, what's her name? She gonna kill me. I cannot believe.
Who did she play for?
No, it wasn't even the player. It was the official. And my girl who Spoon, the first female referee.
Yeah, she
gonna kill me, and this is my girl.
It's on the tip of my tongue too. It's on the tip of my. She's the commissioner. She's like the commissioner over all of them.
Well, she's the commissioner in college. She's gonna kill me. God, she's gonna kill me, because remember it was Dee Cantor and God, what's her name? She's gonna kill me, because I was telling them about the female official.
Violet Palmer.
That's Violet Palmer. My girl Violet gonna kill me.
Don't read.
She's out here in LA, and I'm always talking about. I was explaining it to them. As legendary as this picture is, Violet Palmer is in the picture. I say this official went on to be one of the first females ever to coach in the NBA, and I was explaining to them how historical that picture was. But I just wanted to let them know that.
Yeah, but she
was you and Lisa.
Yeah, but she threw that ball up on Lisa's side.
Well, she is.
That's why I had to back up. That's why I just had to back up. I was just like,
She remembering everything, and she's well. Look at it. Look at Kym.
All the time. Nothing's changed.
Oh my God. Well, y'all got the game. Give us something, Kym. Good Lord, y'all got the game.
There's a conversation I definitely want to get to on another day, just about the narratives of you mentioned that Rebecca Lobo was in the first tip off, but it was actually Kym that tipped it off in the end. But there's a deeper conversation I would love to get to in another day about just how we tell stories and the intersectionality between even race and who we're highlighting, because there's a recent article that came out even about the fact that Sylvia Fowles is retiring this year, and she has a lot of similar accolades and achievements and accomplishments as Sue Bird, but we really aren't talking about Fowles the same way that we're talking about Bird this year. But that's a conversation. We'll save that maybe as a preview for next week, because right now we do got to talk about Kym, your top 5 female singers of all time. You showed us your vocal strength.
Yeah, okay. So I love me some Lettucey. I love me some Nancy Wilson. I like Shaka Khan. I like who else am I forget? Like, gosh, I wish.
Well, I know you're gonna say Whitney, right?
Well, definitely. I mean, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And I love me some Yolanda Adams. I love me some. Yeah, I see the list and seeing it, and it depends. See, now it depends on what I'm listening to, what my rotation is, and stuff like that. Yeah, so it kind of changes up a little bit.
What's in the top 5 rotation right now?
I just named them.
Oh, okay, so that was the current ones. Okay,
I just named those off the top. Yeah. I'll go with those right now. Yeah.
Have you seen Yolanda Adams' show?
Huh?
Have you seen Yolanda Adams' show that she's singing in? I think it's called Family Kingdom or Kingdom Family. Or
no.
She's showing her acting.
I know.
She's singing. She's like Yolanda Adams is really doing it. I think it's called Family Kingdom or something like that. I saw it's on BET Plus, and she sings a couple of songs in there, and she's fire.
I know, girl. I know. It's just, you just look at certain people, and you just like, golly, you just look at the talent that certain people get, and it's like, Jesus. I mean, it's something. I mean, but it's just so many more. Like, don't quote me, like, again, like there are so many more. I'm just like blown away by so many. Yeah, it's just.
I know nobody ain't asked me, but I did get killed in the beauty salon. I gotta tell this story. We're talking about singers. It's so funny because I gotta set the scene for you guys. It's a black hair salon. I'm in there and I'm sitting in the chair and they're talking about great singers. Whitney came up. Patti LaBelle. Nancy Wilson and all that. And I was sitting in the chair and I was going, and y'all probably gonna talk about me too, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I was like, please don't ask me about this. This is something I don't want to even talk about. I don't even want to talk about it because I know they're going to kill me in this salon, right? And they asked me, Penny, who's your favorite singer? Anybody know who my favorite singer is? I know you don't care, but I'm going to tell you, it's Barbra Streisand. And they went to work on me.
Streisand,
really? She's the truth. She's the truth.
She can sing your stuff, but everybody ain't singing Barbara stuff, okay?
Exactly.
And then I love Barbara is my favorite singer. Of course, Whitney would be in there. My girl Christina Aguilera got to be up in there too because she got some chops,
Mariah Carey?
They went ham on me, and
Mariah Carey's up in there too.
Barbara is up there, and they went ham on me in the shop, but I defended Barbara. But I love great singers. I really do.
Yeah, exactly. I have to take my hat off to it. Yeah, to me too. Yeah.
Let's see. This Facebook user says, how do you think BG's Russian incarnation will affect the future of players going overseas? There's a life-changing bank. There's a life-changing bank over there. I would love to hear your thoughts on this because I have a twin sister. She's 6'4", and she's playing professional basketball overseas for right now in her current career. She's getting her next contract, but there's a few teams that are even around Russia she's considering, but we're all like tap out of that immediately just because of what's happening and like how that's changing. But let's keep it real. And then I'd love to hear all of your perspectives because you guys all played overseas to my knowledge, right? The money overseas, people don't understand. Like, it's better than the WNBA, like, especially in the offseason. Some of these teams, like in Russia in particular, like there's a 30 for 30 podcast with Sue Bird and Taurasi talking about how they made $1 million. People don't understand that. So it's not like you're going over there to put yourself in danger. You're going over there for generational wealth. And it's a different conversation. So, but with this whole Brittany Griner stuff, like, how does that change the narrative? Is it even worth it at that point? Maybe not even Russia, but even countries around Russia. Anyone jump in? I don't care.
I think what's happening to Brittany is obviously a travesty. I said that from the beginning. That's like, just a travesty because we all know, let's just face it, if the war wasn't going on with Ukraine and America wasn't involved in that, they would have took Brittany straight from the airport to the court, so she's being used as a pawn. But I do want to say this, and a lot of people are gonna get mad when I say this, but it's certified unscripted. I really don't care if you get mad. I think overseas it made a lot of money, but I'm gonna tell you something. People still got to live in a state of gratefulness because the WNBA is giving people a life. And when I say about a life, it might not have paid the money to compare to a lot of those overseas, and some of those countries like Russia are money laundering too. But my thing is the WNBA has given people careers. Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at Becky, who had the opportunity to go to the men's league, and now she's back in the women's league. You look at Dawn, you look at Chanel Gumake on TV. Mm-hmm. You look at there's a WNBA player on every college bench. This is what I'm saying, that the money in the WNBA isn't up there yet, but it's giving people careers. So mm-hmm. Stop making the comparison because yes, they've been established overseas and you're going, but let's face it. Let's be grateful though that the WNBA is still here too. And I always say they apple and oranges because you get to play in front of your family here. You get to go on and have great careers. I mean, even your job, Savannah, if ever you play in the league or not, the WNBA done opened up a lot of floodgates for women to integrate ourselves into these fields. You know what I'm mm-hmm. saying? You look at Stacey Dale's down on the NFL field. I mean, if you look a lot of places, you're going to find somebody that was associated with the WNBA there. So as opposed, from my standpoint, to compare the two or say, oh, if she didn't have to go over there, well, she didn't. She could have chose not to. The point was they're paying $1 million. We all going to go and get the money. What Russia did was wrong, but we can't say it's because the WNBA don't pay. If you ain't got the money, you still got to get established, and this league is still pioneering. And this is when it comes back to these younger kids. Yeah, promote yourself on TikTok and all that, but promote the league too while you're at it. You know what I'm saying? Not just focusing on what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. No, and let me just quickly clarify as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to be like, no, the WNBA doesn't pay at all. I'm just saying, because no, you made a good point, and that's the conversation point to this as well, is the fact that it's like the two are together. It's like you make your reputation in the WNBA. Once you have that on your resume, you go overseas and you're worth more there. And they may be paying you a lot more, but at the same time, like WNBA, like you said, there's so much list of benefits and just how much it grows for opportunities off the court for the women's game right here in home in North America. Rita?
She looked like she wanted to say something.
Well, I do, because, this whole situation has really bothered me tremendously. I don't know if you guys know, but I was the first American, Medina and I were the first two Americans to ever go and play in Russia. We were the first two. Right after their transition from communism to capitalism, we went over. Wow, I played there. I played with Medina Dixon my first year, and I played with Pauline Jordan the second year. And I kind of feel a certain way, because going over there, my thought process was to open doors for more Americans to be able to play there. And now this door has been opened. Look what has happened. It makes me feel a certain way, because it's something that I decided I want to start. I want to go there. I want to play there. And Medina Dixon and I were the first two to ever play in Russia. So I do feel a certain way. My heart is crushed for this young lady that she can't be home. She's not home with us. And she's being used as a political pawn for them to swap. And is the swap really equal? Is the swap really equal? Has this kid really done something to that point that this is the swap? This is the swap.
That's crazy.
Now, any other time, like Penny said, LA, they just took you right onto the court. Or the team that you were playing for, if you've done something stupid, they got you out and got you back to where you're supposed to be. I'm so lost with how the world is right now. But for her, my heart is just torn up in so many ways, because I did play there first.
Yeah. The crazy thing is that, she's appealing it, but the appeal process is a 2-month window, which is really, she's just sitting there. And I think, like Annette Johnson says, we have to keep praying for her. And it's, we know it's political, but prayer does answer a lot of things for us, but we have to wind it up and wrap it up rather. But I have one last question from Hoopballer Scoop. And his question is for all you young ladies. He wants to ask all of you, at what age or stage in your career were you at your best as a player? Was it college? Was it overseas, or later in the WNBA?
Well, mine was easy. I felt I had a better overseas career when I got to the Sparks. We fired the coach every year, and I know Kym ain't high on the coaches, but it does make a difference if you got a coach. But that's okay. I went on to be a legendary general manager with not 1, not 2, but 3 titles. So I'm good.
No, I'm not at all. I'm definitely, no, it's not that I'm not high on the coaches. Like, I just understand when you get to a certain level, that the certain dynamic. I think the younger, like collegiately, I think college coaching really steps into play a lot, but when you get to the pros, I believe that sometimes, you have a dynamic where even if your coach was out a game or, whatever, they could still pull it together. So I don't negate any coaches. I've always been cool with all coaches, and things like that. But I just wanted our fans, our listeners to also understand that sometimes it isn't just about coaching. It's about, you get a certain dynamic like that Houston team. They may not have gotten along all the time on the court, but they were able to pull it together enough to win championships, and 4 consecutive. How about that? you know, so.
Crazy.
But I would have to say, like there were times, I would say that there were spurts in my throughout my whole career. You know, there were times, you know, like in high school. Well, maybe not in high school, but I mean, because I learned so much more, you know, in college and afterwards. But you said the best, yeah, I would have to say overseas, you know, because my role changed dynamic. My coach, she only looked at me, the post players, as rebounders and defenders. Like she didn't really look. I'm like, girl, I scored over 2,400 points in college. I'm like, girl, can I get at least 3 shots a game? You know, everything. It was a guard oriented. You know, I was just like, I'm like, girl, you know, let me look. I had Cheryl Swoops and Tina Thompson guarding me. I'm like, can I get the ball? They won't be shooting them threes and running for them layups, you know?
For sure.
Yeah, but I would have to say pros, some of the pros.
How about you, Spoon?
Definitely overseas. Because the responsibility was on your shoulders. So you really kind of got reps in so many areas of your game, and it grew. Your game started to grow because they leaned and depended on you to get it done. So my game really grew overseas, and it just carried over into the WNBA at a late age in my life.
Absolutely.
And as we're talking about age, Kym, I know your birthday is coming up, and you will be looking awesome at 6'0".
Yeah, this is the you know, 60 is like the new 45, you know.
Kym, I thought I was older than you until Rita. I said, Kym, no, because you look so great. I said, I'm older than Kym, huh, Rita? We had that discussion this morning.
Are you older than me?
No, I thought I was.
Okay.
He's with me. He's with me.
Oh. Wow.
Until we had Rita and I were going back and forth. For me to go, Penny, pull out your computer and go online and Google Kym's birthday. Yeah.
Listen, if it's any consolation, you guys, to me, look like you could be my older sisters. So you guys don't look a day past like 35 max. And I'm being serious.
And that's why you want to hear
we gonna keep Savannah, right?
Like don't crack.
We're going to wind this session up. It's really been a great night. I thank you, Kym, immensely for sharing the time. My apologies to our first 5 minutes of the show, but I'm glad y'all stuck with us. We have some great numbers tonight. And Kym, just keep doing what you're doing and keep us informed. Any last comments from everyone or anyone?
Kym, just thank you for being here. You know, I always thought you were a wonderful soul. The thing I love about this whole league is, you know, we make a lifetime of friendship. You know, it's a bond that everybody can't say they played in as far as the WNBA. So thank you for being here and, you know, sharing your thoughts. And you're perfect for certified unscripted.
And I thank you all for being here, the opportunity to be here. I thank you all for your sistership. And just for keeping the game of basketball in the minds of our listeners and the minds of our fans and telling those stories that they need to hear that help connect then to now.
Yes, absolutely. I want to thank.
She knows how much I love her. You know how much I love you. And I'm going to say this for everybody to hear of how proud I am that you decided to make that next step in your life. I'm so super proud of you. Keep doing what you do and greater things are to come.
Thank you. Hi, Mama B. Hi, Franthea.
Listen, just to piggyback off of everybody, I mean, feel like everything's been said, but honestly, it was just a pleasure to get to know you better, Kym. Honestly, like, I feel like I didn't just get to know you as a player and the history that you created with such an amazing relationships that you fostered, right? You're still talking. Here you are with Spoon right now, still laughing it up, still having a relationship with your daughter and Spoon and everything like that. And I'm just drinking it all in, being like, this is so incredible people on this panel, but you yourself, Kym, you're an incredible person. Your voice is immaculate and you just sound beautiful inside and out. And keep making a change at Nike, because we know we need those game changers off the court just as much.
Thank you. And I want to say thank you to all the people that tuned in and that continuously tunes into this this platform. Thank you for tuning in and listening. And thank you for your questions. And Cheryl, what's up, girl? Cheryl Stallings, NBA.
Well, definitely, Savannah, as always, thank you so much for co-hosting with me and just really handling, because I'm behind the scenes, but I genuinely appreciate you coming on board with us, and just all the fans that we weren't able to answer your questions and the followers. We just had so many questions and we tried to do what we could as well as get to the playoffs and give you some inside information. So stay tuned for next week, because we're not new to this. We are true to this, because we are certified
unscripted.
Oh, there we go. See y'all next week. Have a great week.
See you guys.
Peace
Bye,
to the-
guys.